What's up YouTube, I'm Christophernegroni, and today we're talking about the MoonSwatch. Is it a real Speedmaster, or just some cheap Happy Meal toy? So unless you've been living under a hole, or you're just a regular person that doesn't obsess about watches, then you're already familiar with the Omega Swatch collaboration, the MoonSwatch. The MoonSwatch was released on March 26, 2022. This announcement was received with both love and hate. The MoonSwatch featured 11 different iterations, all inspired by celestial adventures. Now with me today, I have the Suicide Mission to the Sun. I think this version is my second favorite out of the 11, second only to the Mission to the Mars. I love how that model closely resembles the coveted Omega Speedmaster Alaska project. But this model is finished in a bright yellow ceramic case, plastic, surrounded by a contrasting white bezel. The sunbrush finish on the dial, which is unique only to the Mission to the Sun, is the canvas for the triple sub-registers that are a matching white color. Dashes of orange all around the watch. It's a fun little watch, but is it a real Speedmaster? To answer that question, we have to talk a little more about what the MoonSwatch did for the industry and what it revealed about the watch community. For one, we learned that within the community, there will always be those who are looking to flip, looking to make a quick buck. The long lines and high demand were a clear indication that there are those that will always capitalize on something popular. In a way, it's kind of a necessary evil. It's that saying, you want what you can't have. I mean, will we still want these watches without the hype, without the demand? I guess it's a conversation for another day. The second thing we learned was that this was a well thought out plan by both Omega and Swatch to both increase sales and inject youthful interest into Swiss luxury watches. And lastly, we learned that watch enthusiasts feel very strongly about their speedies and the prestige it carries. In a way, the MoonSwatch was a direct attack on the love and admiration speedy nuts share for the Speedmaster. The MoonSwatch hurt their egos. But let's peel back the layers a bit. Let's talk about how owning a MoonSwatch has made me realize, has helped me to understand what Swatch and Omega have done here. It's kind of a genius move. Now, when the MoonSwatch was first released, I too was quick to hate everything about this release. I hated the sly marketing, bioceramic, which we now know is mostly plastic. I hated that they took direct details from the Speedy Pro, and all of this was packaged up and sold in a massive culmination of hype beast resale culture. A lot to hate here, right? Come on, a dot over 90, they put twisted lugs on this. What are they trying to say? This is a real Speedmaster? It says Speedmaster on the dial. It even says Omega on the dial. Now you compare that to a $7,000 Speedmaster. Is this a bargain? Would this suffice as a Speedmaster? How dare they? We're watch enthusiasts. We know better, right? But you kind of have to experience the MoonSwatch. You kind of have to own it to fully understand the genius behind this release. As someone who's been on the fence on whether I want to buy, whether I want to spend over $7,000 on a professional Speedmaster, I've tried it on plenty of times. I've even found pretty good deals, 10, 20, up to 30% off a brand new Speedy, but I've still not been able to pull the trigger. But owning this MoonSwatch, this $260 Speedmaster, has allowed me to not exactly know what it's like to own a professional Speedmaster, but rather give me a little taste. And a taste is all you really need. Yes, the MoonSwatch may be cheap. It may be reminiscent of a Cracker Jack prize. A complete Happy Meal toy, you could say. But this is a toy built to the exact proportions, exact size of the Speedmaster Professional. And that was the genius. This watch allowed those who aspire to own a Speedy, along with people like myself who were on the fence, to simply wear something that allowed us to imagine what life with a Speedy might feel like. I like to joke around with people and say, you could just buy a MoonSwatch, and you've got a Speedy in the collection. Boom, check mark, 260 bucks. Speedy in the collection, you save thousands of dollars. But I know now what Omega knew when they developed this project with Swatch. They knew once you had a taste, you'd want the full serving. The size, proportions, the reflections, and the simplicity of the layout draws you into the Speedmaster. It piques your curiosity in the history. It creates nostalgia for what will be a new generation of speedy enthusiasts. And that's genius. And the proof is in the pudding. Omega sales promptly skyrocketed in 2022. Specifically, since the Swatch MoonSwatch release, Omega has reportedly increased sales across the Speedmaster line by 50%. 50%! But they're not the only ones that benefited, because Swatch sold over 1 million MoonSwatches. 1 million MoonSwatches. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry that went in to buy a MoonSwatch didn't just buy a MoonSwatch. You see, they probably picked up a System 51 for a sibling, or maybe they also bought a Flick Flack for their kid. You see, this release didn't just benefit Omega or Swatch. This release benefited the entire Swiss luxury watch industry. It contributed to a massive increase in Swiss watch exports, with a record 27 million in 2022. After the dust has settled, the MoonSwatch has convinced me and thousands of others of people that the Omega Speedmaster is still a watch to own and collect, still a watch that you need in your collection, all while bringing up the entire Swiss luxury watch industry and bolstering its future. Plus, at the end of the day, it's just a cheap, fun entry into a hobby or obsession that won't let you escape. And how can you hate that? So in summary, get yourself a MoonSwatch. Don't knock it till you try it. Negroni out.